Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to welcome you to today's presentation. We'll be diving into a very important topic: why understanding quiet quitting is a must-learn for students, faculty, and industry stakeholders alike. This presentation is titled, "The New Story of Employee Motivation," and we'll explore why quiet quitting is on the rise in India, what it means for our workplaces, and how it impacts employee retention and productivity. Over the next few minutes, we'll look at how this phenomenon is shaping the modern workforce and what you all need to know to navigate these evolving dynamics. So, let's get started. Let's take a closer look at some of the underlying issues behind this trend. Are we seeing a generational shift in values? Perhaps younger employees perceive the importance of their jobs differently than previous generations. This could be influencing their attitudes and engagement levels. Are perceptions of job importance changing? It seems so, with some feeling less connected or committed to their roles. This might lead to an imbalance of expectations, where employers expect more, but employees feel they should give less. Could burnout be a factor here? It's definitely a possibility, as exhaustion can cause employees to withdraw psychologically from their work, even if they remain physically present. Now, when we talk about root causes to explore, one key aspect is psychological withdrawal from work. Employees may do the bare minimum, sticking only to their basic responsibilities without extra effort or involvement. They might limit their efforts to minimal involvement but still stay in the job, which is a subtle form of disengagement. This brings us to the concept of quiet quitting, a term that has gained prominence across Indian organizations. It describes a workplace trend where employees intentionally disengage without formally resigning, choosing to do just what's required and nothing more. Understanding quiet quitting is crucial because it reflects a shift in how employees are managing their work-life balance and expectations. Recognizing these signs helps us address the underlying issues and foster a more engaged, motivated workforce. Let's explore some effective ways to increase employee engagement. First, we need to suggest practical solutions that organizations can implement to boost motivation and commitment. It's also important to recognize the shortcomings that often exist in organizational culture and HR practices, which can hinder engagement. Next, we should evaluate the current culture within the organization to identify areas that need improvement. Understanding the differences between generations, specifically Gen Z and millennials, is crucial because their values and expectations can vary significantly. Analyzing these generational differences helps tailor engagement strategies more effectively. Additionally, factors like motivation, workload, burnout, and leadership style play a vital role in how engaged employees feel. Recognizing the drivers behind engagement or disengagement can help us create a more supportive work environment. Moving on, we need to understand the main reasons behind quiet quitting in Indian workplaces. Identifying these root causes allows us to address underlying issues rather than just surface symptoms. Finally, all of this ties back to our research purpose and objectives, which aim to uncover actionable insights to foster a more engaged and productive workforce. By connecting these points, we can develop targeted strategies that resonate across different employee groups and organizational contexts. Understanding and addressing these key areas is absolutely critical for HR leaders today. Innovation plays a huge role in staying competitive, but it's also about delivering a great customer experience that keeps clients coming back. At the same time, team morale and productivity are closely linked. When employees feel motivated and valued, everything runs more smoothly. Retention is another major challenge. Many organizations are struggling with high turnover rates and low productivity levels, which directly impact growth. Often, employees feel undervalued despite carrying heavy workloads, leading to disengagement. We also see a shift in what employees prioritize. Young professionals are placing more importance on work-life balance than on traditional career advancement. And in India, job expectations are evolving rapidly, making it even more important for HR leaders to stay agile and responsive. This research matters because it highlights these critical issues. Addressing them effectively can help organizations unlock their full potential and foster a more engaged, innovative workforce. Let's delve into the key research questions that frame our understanding of current workplace dynamics. First, has the rise of remote and hybrid work contributed to an increase in quiet quitting? It's a crucial point because these flexible arrangements change how employees engage and communicate. Next, we need to ask, what do employees actually miss? Is it growth opportunities, respect, salary, or recognition? Understanding these gaps helps us address their underlying needs. Moving on, are the reward systems in Indian companies outdated? This question is vital because outdated systems might fail to motivate employees effectively. Then, we consider how leadership behavior influences employee engagement. Strong leadership can inspire commitment, while poor behavior can do the opposite. We also need to ask, is quiet quitting driven more by burnout or a lack of motivation? Recognizing the root causes helps in designing better interventions. Finally, we look at which age groups and industries see the highest prevalence of quiet quitting. Identifying these patterns allows organizations to target their efforts more effectively. Overall, these questions are central to understanding the shifting landscape of employee engagement and the factors that influence it. Now, let's take a closer look at the variables we measured in this study. We focused on several key indicators that reveal the health of employee engagement and well-being. First, the engagement score itself gives us a snapshot of how committed and involved employees feel in their work. Leadership support is crucial here, as strong backing from management can significantly boost motivation and satisfaction. Job satisfaction is another vital factor. Understanding how employees feel about their roles helps us identify areas for improvement. We also looked at burnout indicators, which are increasingly important in today's fast-paced work environments, especially with remote and hybrid setups. Motivation levels tie into all of this, as they drive productivity and overall morale. These variables were measured across diverse employee groups, including remote and hybrid workers. As well as young professionals from Generation Z, we considered different career stages, like mid-level managers and entry-level staff, to get a comprehensive picture. In terms of employee categories, our focus extended to sectors such as manufacturing, startups, ed-tech, banking and finance, and IT and tech. This wide scope allowed us to understand industry-specific challenges and opportunities. Finally, the overall scope of our study was designed to capture a broad and representative sample across various target industries. This holistic approach helps us draw meaningful insights into employee engagement and well-being, which are central themes of this presentation. Now, let's take a closer look at some of the key components we've examined. We started by analyzing our company's HR policies, reward systems, and career development programs to understand how they support employee motivation and growth. Next, we looked into work patterns, comparing remote versus in-office setups, and how these influence employee engagement. We also explored differences between Generation Z and Millennials, particularly in what motivates each group, which helps us tailor our approaches more effectively. Moving on to our comparative study, we identified some critical issues like emotional disconnect, cultural challenges, mismatched expectations, and varying motivation drivers. These insights stem from working with a sample of 20 to 25 employees and HR managers through interviews, which provided qualitative insights into work attitudes, engagement levels, extra-role behaviors, workload and stress, and leadership perceptions. In addition, we surveyed a larger group of 200 to 250 employees to gather quantitative data, giving us a broader perspective on these themes. Finally, I want to emphasize the research methodology, combining both qualitative interviews and quantitative surveys. This mixed approach allows us to develop a comprehensive understanding of the workplace dynamics and employee experiences, which ultimately informs our strategy moving forward. On this slide, we're focusing on the tools we use to detect and understand employee engagement levels. First, we have the quiet quitting identification scale, which helps us spot early signs that an employee might be disengaging or considering stepping back from their responsibilities. Recognizing these signs early allows us to intervene proactively. Next, we look at the motivation drivers matrix. This tool helps us identify the key factors that motivate each individual employee, giving us insights into what drives their engagement and satisfaction. By understanding these drivers, we can tailor our strategies to boost motivation effectively. Then there's the Leadership Support Index. This evaluates how well managers are supporting their teams, which is crucial because strong leadership directly influences engagement and performance. Knowing where support might be lacking helps us target development efforts. We also have the burnout level checklist, which identifies patterns of exhaustion and stress that could lead to burnout. Monitoring these patterns enables us to address issues before they become critical. Finally, the Employee Engagement Scale measures the overall commitment and involvement levels across the organization. It provides a snapshot of how engaged our workforce is at any given time. All of these tools are part of our comprehensive data collection approach, giving us a well-rounded view of employee engagement, motivation, and well-being. Connecting these points, it's clear that using these tools allows us to be more proactive and strategic in fostering a healthy, motivated, and engaged workforce. Let's take a closer look at burnout-driven quiet quitting and how it's more common in certain groups. Startups, for example, tend to see higher rates because employees often feel more disconnected and less of a sense of organizational belonging. This disconnect can lead to a quieter form of disengagement, where employees pull back without formally leaving. Hybrid employees also tend to prefer silent disengagement, which can erode loyalty over time. They might feel less connected to the organization, making quiet quitting a more attractive or easier option. When we look at different generations, millennials are generally more vocal about their boundaries and tend to value alignment with their company's mission and culture. They often prefer transparency and clear communication. In contrast, Gen Z shows emerging patterns of disengagement, often feeling undervalued or unheard, which can lead to behaviors associated with quiet quitting. They also report issues like poor work-life balance, a mismatch between pay and workload, and a lack of psychological safety. Additionally, toxic or indifferent leadership, limited opportunities for growth, and overwork without recognition are common causes that push employees toward quiet quitting. So, when we think about these expected findings, it's clear that understanding the underlying causes, whether it's feeling undervalued, overwhelmed, or disconnected, can help us address the root issues and foster a healthier, more engaged workforce. Let's talk about some key strategies for developing strong leadership and supporting your teams effectively. First, training leaders in empathy, communication, and support is crucial. When managers understand how to connect genuinely and communicate clearly, it creates a more trusting and motivated environment. Next, implementing manager coaching programs helps set realistic targets so teams aren't overwhelmed and allows for ongoing monitoring of capacity and well-being. This balance is essential to prevent burnout and maintain high performance. Celebrating even small wins is another powerful approach. Making appreciation visible not only boosts morale, but also fosters a positive culture where everyone feels valued. Building this recognition culture encourages continuous engagement and motivation across the organization. We also need to show employees clear, realistic career progression opportunities. Transparent growth paths help individuals see their future within the company, increasing loyalty and commitment. Creating robust upskilling programs and defining clear learning paths is equally important. When employees have access to ongoing development, they feel empowered and prepared for new challenges, which strengthens overall career development. All these points connect to a broader implication for HR. By focusing on these areas, HR can cultivate a more engaged, resilient, and capable workforce that's aligned with the organization's growth and success. Organizations that truly care about their people see higher engagement, and importantly, lower rates of quiet quitting. When employees feel trusted, they're more committed and motivated to give their best. So, trust employees with how and when they work. That autonomy really makes a difference. Offering flexibility and independence helps them manage their work in a way that fits their lives, which boosts satisfaction and productivity. It's also crucial to make feedback developmental rather than punitive. When feedback is aimed at growth and learning, employees are more receptive and engaged. Connecting their tasks to a larger purpose, helping them see the impact of their work, makes their efforts feel meaningful. Creating an environment where employees feel safe to speak up is equally important. Building psychological safety encourages open, honest conversations without fear of judgment or repercussions. Regular, honest, two-way dialogue improves the quality of communication and helps address issues early. When managers and organizations focus on these elements, they foster a culture of trust, engagement, and shared purpose. Ultimately, these strategies aren't just about keeping people happy. They drive better performance and sustainable success. The future of work in India really hinges on how well we understand and address this phenomenon. It's crucial for organizations to know how they can prevent quiet quitting and who it impacts the most. Recognizing why quiet quitting is increasing here in India helps us grasp the bigger picture. This research aims to explain that quiet quitting is more than just a passing trend. It's a sign of shifting employee expectations. Employees today want more meaning, balance, and recognition from their work. So, in conclusion, understanding this behavior is key to shaping a healthier, more engaged workforce moving forward. It's about adapting to new realities and ensuring organizations can thrive in this changing landscape.